It does go both ways though. Like if the tiny is farmed, Ricky and Disruptor can die very easily. So they become food for the tiny in a good game. But looking at the last drafts, I don't think Nisha is playing that much tiny. Not really something he does very often. One hero I would like to see ban is actually Zeus. Nisha's been spamming a lot of Zeus. I think it's very good versus Ricky. It allows the support tiny to actually find the targets he wants to go on, and it's also like kind of very high range stun on the puck, which allows the tiny to jump in and stuff like that. I would like to see that banned.
Zeus is a pretty decent choice here, and Knights is a very squishy lineup currently, so you have to be very careful. As you mentioned, if it's a tiny mid, it's going to be really scary for both the Ricky and honestly all of them until Lina gets to fat territory. An early Blink Dagger could really snowball you out of the game, and Lina is going to be your win condition most likely on the Knight side. Liquid do need a bit more control though for the puck. They have overgrowth, but that one can be dodged decently. The tiny is a pretty big catch, and I guess once the Psionic traps with the shard come in, it could be very good to control up the puck, but this puck feels a bit more elusive than they probably want it to be.
Yeah, interesting that they ban MK and Naga, so they're kind of considering that TA could be mid, which not unheard of, obviously, but yeah, I don't know, kind of an awkward set of bans, I think, and they get a Viper. I was thinking they needed something a little bit more bulky, and sure, Viper can build that way, but he's not naturally tanky. I feel like overall their draft looks very squishy.
Okay, that's an interesting choice. It obviously is really good against the TA in the laning stage, but as you mentioned, they can always flex it. Mikke and Nisha, of course, has played TA quite a decent amount in a previous team, and it's very good against Puck because Puck can't break the refraction charges that quickly. So honestly, they could just swap it around pretty easily and give Mikke a different safe laner.
Yeah, I feel like they were gearing towards this, like, all right, they want to play safe lane TA. We're going to actually take some carries out, pick this Viper that is good versus TA, and now if they want to flex it, there's no other good carry left. I guess, Void, usually good versus Lina, but kind of bad versus Ricky and Puck in the early portions of the game. Ursa, kind of the same thing. So I guess I understand the angle they're going for, but Liquid, if there's a team that can get out of these tough situations during the draft, is definitely Liquid. You mentioned two coaches, lots of big minds like Insania and Zai, very experienced players. Let's see if they can find a way out of it. It is tough, though. Maybe a range carry is the way to go. And yeah, Sniper is...
you can.
Yeah. Now the question is, Sniper mid, or will they play... yeah, it's going to be a TA mid with Sniper in the carry position. I think this is fine. There is a lot of catch, and if Knights wins their lanes, I can see kind of a tough match for Liquid. They're going to be Dove, and there's no saves, right? But at the same time, there's more easy push coming from Liquid. This DP, can easily take towers, can just advance the game and buy time for Mickey and Nisha to get to good timings. They just have a very greedy set of cores on this TA and Sniper. I feel like if any of them have a bad game, the other wants to be farming, but both will be farming because they had a bad lane. We'll see how the lanes unfold, but I kind of like Knights a little bit more, I want to say.
Yeah, I like Knights as well, but they are on definitely going to be... I think on a timer. Viper tends to be quite useless in the later portions of the game, depending on the item build, of course. The Ags has been picked up occasionally this patch with like a Blink Dagger, so you can get the disarm on the backline. But for the most part, the hero tends to fall off. Obviously, Lina and Puck not so much, but against a Sniper TA, you make one bad move in the team fight and you get duck-shotted out of existence, or Nishi just two shots your supports. Even two shots the Viper in that case. But you did point out a very crucial fact, and that is it's very greedy, and both of them really want to farm for quite a bit of time. Mickey might be forced to go a little bit more aggressive earlier on than he would like on a sniper safe lane, because TA just can't. That's the problem with TA mid, especially if you're playing against a Viper, Disruptor, and Ricky. You just cannot play aggressively until you get Blink Dagger or BKB at the very least.
Alacrity here just using the smoke alongside Illusory Orb to go for a deep ward, but even still Nisha was able to scout his position, might know that the ward is on either his side or that side of the river. Nicely done there by Nisha scouting that out. Oh, and they even waste the sentry.
Oh no, the 50 gold. XCJ is gonna cry.
That's 50 gold, but there's only 2 available, so that's a sentry could have been used in the bottom side to block a camp, to de-ward your own camp. Small things add up, but and it also means Nisha knows exactly where the ward is, so he can play around that. He could even get a de-ward himself.
Now, looking at these lanes, now I'm going to ask you again the question, Bowie. Where's the most fun going to happen? Where's the action coming through?
Well, in the mid lane, I think they are about to go on to fly by Felix here.
Shoba on the run, does have a blink strike, but currently Alacrity is trying. Yeah, okay, he will be fine. Alacrity was busy blocking the creeps. Felix Shoba's life does not matter as much as these creep blocks in the earlier levels. There should not really be any kill threat in mid unless a rotation comes out from Boxy on that Tiny. For the most part, it should just be even Stevens farming next to each other. Actually still gets a counter ward though.
Yeah, I guess they assumed the sentry was a little bit towards the other side. Very weird that they didn't. Yeah, well, that's free real estate for Alacrity. He is going to be very happy about it. Now, just you were asking about the lanes. I feel like, let me think. Lina Disruptor is like, this time is just going to be dragging waves, so I don't think there's going to be much kill potential on a DP. I'm going with top, probably.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. DP tends to have a terrible lane against these pretty lengthy range heroes. At close range, and Boxy gets a double courier snipe in the process. That is sadness right there for the Knights already in the early laning stage.
That's the most impactful I've seen a tree grab Tiny be in a long time. He gets the tree, gets the range to kill one, throws the tree at the other. Boxy, God. I think a lot of people have been talking about, how usually Nisha is the player most people focus on, but how Boxy is the player that improved the most. And I do have to agree. I think he's been looking so crisp this DPC.
I mean, to be fair, 4 positions are the best players in the game. You cannot prove me wrong in that regard. I think
no.
Little money, most impact is very impressive.
Oh, it's true. I think it is the hardest position to master and to be impactful. Oh, really good LSA from Ego with this glimpse. Not sure that's the kill. Oh, the Mango though.
He does have a magic stick still available. He has a magic stick still available.
My fleet strider's tracks run red.
Maybe felt like he was dead anyways, but yeah, kind of odd.
That was an interesting first blood, I guess. I mean, if it's first blood, you should just try your best to stay alive.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe it was lag.
They're playing on land. There better not be lag right now.
Yep. No excuses there. Zai, unfortunately, falls and flyby, taking a fair amount of damage here.
Yeah, Nikkei went for the shrapnel build. We saw it, of course, yesterday as well. Is he gonna? You've got one more shrapnel. I guess he wants to make sure that flyby does not get the respawn and back to the lane he goes.
Yeah, I think it's better that he doesn't die here, because he's a very sluggish boy, and sure he can regen, but it's gonna take a while. Oh, courier.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Courier's getting sniped all over the place. There's the double courier in the bottom lane, getting ready to deliver some stuff to Ego and XCJ.
Radiant are scanning.
But yeah,
Surprise!
Nisha in the mid lane has nothing to fear from the puck. Also very good at denying because you get the extra refraction damage on the denies, and it even hurts up Alacrity, whereas Alacrity just cannot touch the TA until he gets probably his Witchblade.
Yeah, that's really the timing where you can do the refractions a bit better.
Top side, taking a lot of damage. Mickey, they will get the kill on the flyby. There will be a counter kill coming in. Felix Shelba will be just fine, but yeah, Mickey's loving life top side as well. Not really taking any damage. Yeah, they'll sacrifice Insania for that one, but A-okay.
Yeah, that's. I guess you were right. You kind of mentioned Mickey having to play more aggressive, and the skill build already kind of showcasing that with the 2 points of shrapnel. This might be a game where he goes for the total opposite of the Thompson build, right? You get the early assassinate, you max out shrapnel, and it might hurt your DPS a bit in the beginning, but it allows him to like win the lane, which is definitely worth it.
I am very annoyed by that headshot sound though. The duck noises the entire
they
time.
found Eagle.
Oh, do they manage to get the damage in to kill him? LSA keeps him at bay. The glimpse as well. Eagle should be able to survive. He even has 15 magic wand charges, so honestly was in an okay position regardless. Maybe
Fake height.
try to bait them in. Exactly, fake height. Unless, of course, you know, he gets the same lag as Zygot.
Gets to press the item. Well, regardless, Alacrity here being pressured quite a bit by Nisha, which is expected. The matchup is a very classic one where TA does really well. And yeah, the ward's already being placed here. This is tough. I think Alacrity usually as Puck you want to control that minute 6 rune, but he's going to be forced back to base.
And he's doing a very good job. That's why the pick of the Viper was a bit of a surprise. Normally it would be obviously Mickey playing the TA, but I mean Niche has a very capable player in his own right in playing the Templar Assassin. And it's such a good TA game. The only thing you have to fear is the Viper, but dodging Sleeping Dart from the Ricky with the Meld is going to be a big plus. They're very weak against armor reduction this game.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about the Tiny being able to burst down the Riki and the Disruptor, but TA is the same thing. Once Nisha gets a couple of items, gets Blink, he's going to two-shot the Disruptor, and it's definitely going to look hard. Insania being built by Felix, but not enough damage onto the Riki just yet.
Well, Ego is currently top net worth. Good start for the Lina. Wants to get himself obviously the Maelstrom this game. Yeah, Gleipnir as well, always going to be a nice addition. Boxy gets glimpsed back inside the kinetic field.
Nice boss.
The turn is on towards Zai. They find Flyby again in the top lane, but Zai's close enough range to get the Spirit Siphon healing off and will be just fine.
Oh, man, that Viper, you know, it looked good, and I think I got the idea Knight was going for. But the fact that their draft is so squishy and they are losing lanes against this incredibly scary TA worries me quite a bit. Like, they don't have a frontliner whatsoever, and if the Viper is just being destroyed, he's not going to have the items to build tanky, and if he does, they're going to come late. This is not great for Knights whatsoever. At least the Lina is farmed, as you said. But the Lina just comes online a little bit later than the T, especially when T is middle. The levels just come way too fast.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Of course, Alacti, it is expected that he's going to lose the lane. Ooh, dodges Boxy with the chase. Alacti actually in a bit of trouble, but there's a rotation coming in return. Dream Call onto Nisha. In comes XCJ, has the glimpse available to control up the TA, who's going for the right click fight against Felix Schauba. Nisha should be glimpsed back. Do they finish him off? It's a heal. No, it's not going to be enough from Insania to keep Nisha alive, and it was a very lengthy engagement there to kill him, but they finally do manage to get rid of Nisha in that mid lane.
I mean, the fight just showcases how hard it's going to be to bring Nisha down as the game develops. These were 3 heroes trying to kill Nisha, and it took that amount of time. Alacrity, oh, very close.
Got a regen rune, so
yeah.
At least they forced that out of his bottle. Oh, Boxy. In a bit of trouble, possibly? Nah, Magic Stick. Should be just fine. Where's actually... Okay, so Nisha just went towards the jungle in the meantime, and immediately gets a good counter ward going.
Alright. Doesn't want to be, caught in this madness that's happening in the mid lane. Just wants to accelerate his game. The supports are going to get experience middle. The Puck with no coil has no kill potential, although it is about to be back up. Pretty short cooldown.
Yeah, it's not the longest cooldown, which is really good for the Puck. 75 seconds is honestly nothing in terms of ulti cooldowns and their impact in most games. And in this game specifically, like, if you green coil the enemy and you catch them inside the smoke screen / static storm, they're actually going to be hampered so incredibly heavily that it's going to be pretty tough to continue a widespread team fight. Ego, going in onto Boxy. Laguna has been used. Boxy dropping low. The glimpse onto Zai. Make sure that the exorcism will not be able to get rid of Ego. And XCJ trying to juke his way through, but Mickey rotates to the bottom as well. They're looking for the tier 1 tower. You will find XCJ, but Ego.
Oh, middle though.
Live and kicking. And Nisha not so much.
Wow, I gotta say, we had a disruptor pick from eHome in game 2. Definitely didn't feel the impact of that hero, but this time, just being able to disengage from the Death Prophet, there's a lot of, I think, like, even though this disruptor died, I've seen a lot of times where the glimpse felt quite impactful, and very excited to see what he can bring up to the table. That said, they do lose the bottom tower in exchange of Nisha. I think that's a fair trade. But the problem is, this sniper is getting away with murder right now. We were scared that they had too greedy of a lineup. But Mickey and TA are doing fairly well. I think it's only going to get better because of just how hard it's going to be for the TA to handle these two range carries on the side of Liquid.
And the bottom tier 1 tower gone as well is going to mean that they need to get a counter play towards top and secure the opening of the map for the Knights. Otherwise, it's going to be problematic for Ego to get consistent farm. He's going to need to get a couple of items close to the Maelstrom. But they should be able to get the tier 1 tower in the process. While Mika, in the meantime, they're going for tier 1 mid. That's a lot more. Siege Creep is still alive. How are you going to be able to keep this tower alive, to even fortify the creeps so that the catapult will not be harmed just yet? They get a big one. Alacrity is going to get jumped in. The silence from Zai hits. Alacrity gets sniped down, assassinates, flies through, but it's going to be Nisha with the kill, and that's a huge kill onto Alacrity, who just finished up his Witchblade.
That was very odd, because they had Glyph on Knights the whole time, and they never popped it. I'm not sure if it would change too much, but it just felt like the Puck was maybe baiting a Glyph of some sort and just gets dove and dies for no reason. Definitely not a great start there for Alacrity, as they do find Mickey. Oh no!
Bit of a whiff there coming through. Laguna Blade though on Mickey will still find the sniper, but in return the rotations are coming in. And Xavier with a nice overgrowth onto 3, and Ego is stuck. They finally take down the Lina. XCJ will be the next one, and Felix Schaube will stop Courier. While in the meantime, just dipping out of there. He does almost have the money for his shard, which is going to be a really big pickup, but yeah, they do manage to find Ego on that Lina taken down.
Yeah, I mean, at first it doesn't seem like too big of a mistake because they get the sniper kill anyways, but the Lina had to move forward to chase, and that's the reason why she was caught up with the disruptor at the same time. Kind of a unfortunate mistake there. I just feel like the Knights draft is a little bit more fragile, a little bit more like you cannot afford as many mistakes as Liquid can, just because they have those two range strong. I will use the word carries for this. And now, do they have silence? They do. This could be a kill onto the Puck.
Not again. Alacrity run away. Just tries to hide in the bottom lane. Jumps to the side. And it is going to be another catch. And yeah, from the tree line, the silence from Zai flies out. And at that point, it is a projectile these days, so you can't dodge it. But if you don't see it coming, there's no chance in dodging. Oh, Boxy finds another one. XCJ, that's going to be the disrupt. He tries to glimpse Zai away, keeps him out of there. But in comes Nisha. Is he going to go for this, though? Nisha, he's walking into a very dangerous position. So Flyby is actually distracted with going in onto Zai. Felix Schaube still doesn't have the shard. And you get a free kill without being punished whatsoever. Liquid's just getting away with murder every single time.
Yeah, it's crazy because you look at Liquid's lineup and you expect them to be weak at this stage, but a lot of the power that comes from Riki actually only starts at 15 minutes with the shard, and does, even as you said, the TA going that deep for a disruptor kill. Misha's not afraid of many things, especially when the puck was dead from the earlier engagement. I really like the way Liquid is playing around the fact that this Riki is kind of a creep until he gets the shard, which he has the gold for. Just needs about a minute to get it.
Yeah, Lacti, the puck's been struggling this game. Those 2 deaths were really hampering his farm because the Blink Dagger is going to be a must-have. But even if you get it, at one point there will be that Nisha with the shard. You're going to have the silence traps all over the place, something that it's kind of going to force the puck to go probably for a BKB. But you don't want to go for a BKB on a puck because it's not great, especially because the enemy has overgrowth, so they have multiple
Look how
to deal with it.
deep Knights are here. They're trying to go for Mickey, but they don't find anyone.
And they're trying to scare them back. This kind of feels like how Ehome was playing last series, where they're just trying to find kills. I guess Ego is doing a little bit more in the farm department than was it XCJ?
No, sorry.
XCJ is the disruptor here. It's MKS, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, they do get a good static storm, but that's a disengaged static storm.
The Viper, Guardian Greaves build. I guess Sustain is pretty nice. Sai is doing the exact same thing because it's the best item in this current patch. However, with the state that this game is going in, you're looking at, late game situations. Bowie, what team does it favor?
Sure, it is Liquid. Oh, they find a Riki. Oh, that is that Felix. But I look at this Viper, and what happens if he gets Avalanche tossed? Like, if he's going to be that frontliner, he's always going to be tossed by Boxy. He's going to be the first point of contact that Liquid finds, and he has no response to that. They don't have global. There has to be like a reaction very quickly from Knights, and there's a puck, which is good, but I don't think it's good enough. They cannot save the Viper. They cannot re-engage after the Ava toss happens, and I think that's just an inherent advantage that Liquid's going to have moving forward.
Yeah, they're keeping it pretty close though in terms of net worth, and they have the shard now on Riki, and that's kind of when the Riki really does come alive, and you can try and find yourself some free kills, quote unquote free kills.
For sure, they are looking for it. The Riki was in position. That's why he died the last time we showed. And now they seem to be trying very hard. Yeah, they just want to make sure they don't know Ricky's here, which I don't think they know for sure, but they kind of think he is, because they're playing very passive here. Boxy missing CS just because he is aware of what the shadows are hiding.
He does have his Blink Dagger pretty much done, so that's going to be a nice way to engage onto this puck. Make sure that Alacrity gets crushed before he can even use any of his spells. How are they going to be able to rectify this? They have the full Guardian Greaves on Flyby, so this might be a moment where they could engage. I guess maybe waiting for the Blink Dagger on Alacrity would be a little bit more advantageous. Ego, he's got, I think, Gleipnir. Yeah, Gleipnir delivered on Ego. Next item, BKB. Ego can, at this stage, already fight. Actually very capable at fighting, especially with the way... Like, their ultis on the side of Knights are really good together.
Yeah, the Riki needs to play with the puck, I think. Once you have the blink, you can easily engage into a target, and the smokescreen makes sure that pretty much all the cores on Liquid will die. There is no Hurricane Pike on the Sniper, his BKB not ready just yet, but the timing window is quickly dwindling here. They need to start doing moves, and it's Liquid on the aggressive.
Oxy with the blink, they're looking for a catch. There's the tossback play, and they find Ego the best target possible. Ego takes a lot of damage, and can he get out? No! Bursted down in a very good succession. Boxy's going to be shooting immediately, but there are multiple ways to interrupt it. He forces out the Dream Coil with that, so the counterplay potential
this is Roche.
Is not there. Yeah, they head into the pit immediately. They've got the Desolator on Misha, they've got the Exorcism at the ready. They're pushing power is pretty immense, and Roshan is already dead.
Dude, I just want to say, the fact that Boxy tries to TP there is the reason why they can Roche. They were forced to coil for a tiny, and sure, they get the kill, but that's a +4, and that's pre-Roche for Nisha. Liquid, they're not making any mistakes. I think the way that they were able to win top is very commendable. I think China for a while was kind of hyped up for the fact that they're really good laners, just really good mechanically skilled players. But so far, I'm like, and it's not surprising, Liquid has been doing really well. But they are actually just straight up destroying Liquid at this stage.
Yeah, Liquid is a pretty scary team, as we can definitely see. 4K net worth ahead. They've been pretty A-okay. Boxy jumps in on Alacrity. They have the shard already on the TA. So it definitely already shows Nisha is going to be a big nuisance for Alacrity. And they can just go for this bottom tier 2 tower push, because Alacrity needs to be very careful. Boxy's nearby, misses the Blink Ava toss play. But there's no one that's going to really interrupt Nisha continuing this push.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's been 4 minutes since they got the shard on Riki, and pretty much every core in Liquid, they know and they should show in lane or not. Like, Zai lost 2 waves of creep top because he was aware of the presence of the Riki. And as long as they don't give an inch for the way Knight wants to play, which is basically engage with the dart and try to burst someone, Liquid, there's no other play, basically, because the puck can't solo kill any targets, and there's no follow-up damage. You don't want to initiate with coil. You want to be using the Riki as the initiation, just because the cooldowns are lower. It's just a very tough position. The Lina is farming, as we talked about, but it's Lina versus 2 scary cores. Usually Lina can out-carry like 1 TA or 1 sniper. In this game...
Oh no, Alacrity! And even if he gets the jump away, Insania's lying in wait, has the shard. Alacrity's gonna get looted up. They get the assassinate in, and Alacrity is caught, as Insania is a sneaky devil. The tree lurks.
Oof. There you go, another one.
Oh, will they actually go for it? CJ runs the opposite direction. Tries to keep himself alive. Glimpse should keep him going, and they won't be able to get that chase in their favor, but yeah, Liquid's got full control at the moment. Knights are constantly on the run.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, the Riki, not great at counter-initiating. He wants to be the hero doing the moves, and that's hard against the way Liquid is playing, the fact they have Aegis. This Viper, he felt like a non-factor the entire game. He just lost the lane, tried to recover with the Greaves. Never clicked for Knights, unfortunately. The fact that the
Viper just... it's a Viper. At what point does it actually do anything again? It's just falling behind further and further.
They were very confident that they would be able to play Viper versus TA in the safe lane, but Liquid, we were praising the fact that they are really good at drafting, and once again, the Sniper solving every issue, actually winning the lane versus Viper, whilst the TA won against Puck. And, when you get those lanes, it's kind of commendable that Knights even is doing as well as they are, which is not very much well, but still, like, there might be a chance. Yep.
Nice sleep there, but facing for more. Flyby, can he actually get out? The slows are so immense. They're going to get stacked up to each other. And it's easy tap with the exorcism. Tier 2 tower mid is gone, and they're just going to walk right up to the high ground. It's Liquid. They're looking pretty good. Insania actually top lane. He dodges the Gleipnir. He dodges the Stagstone kinetic field. Will be glimpsed back. In comes Boxy to try and keep Insania alive. Will not be the case. But they're just distracted in the top lane, while in the meantime the mid set of rocks are just getting pushed out.
And every time it feels like the Liquid supports, they just actually do that one move where you have to commit an ult to kill them. Oh, mid. Triple coil, but do they have the damage? I don't think they do. That's just a distraction.
Coil does very little to almost nothing. Okay, taking some damage. Has a BKB at the ready though. And
TA shard.
Yep, the TA shard's too much to handle. At the same time, Nick is going to go for the TP out. Boxy will be left behind. They don't take down the racks at the very least. They are accelerating their farm on the side of Liquid.
Yeah, only the support's dying again. Like the fact that the Lina has to ult a tree on top, then she comes bottom, doesn't have the burst damage. With the Laguna Blade, maybe Sniper dies when you engage. Mickey had BKB on cooldown, but Liquid is just playing really well. I actually like the Nice draft very much until the Viper pick. I think that, they got greedy with trying to force the Viper into TA, and Liquid found a way with the Sniper. And even the Puck now actually can die because of the TA traps with Silence, the Insania Shard. It's not an easy game for Alacrity to play. And he was supposed to be creating the space for the Lina to get bigger.
Yeah, the Puck is going Kaya Sand. Afterwards wants to go Lotus. That says enough. Puck going for a Lotus Orb. Because the silences and the roots are too much. Even Insane doesn't even have to use his overgrowth. He even has his shard. He can just walk up and give you the old smack. And you're stuck. At that point, the rest can immediately pounce on towards him.
And they have the gem on Insania as well. The map was already feeling very small for Knights, and it's going to shrink even more. If they somehow can kill the Insania tree, that could be a big change of momentum. That's probably the biggest chance they have right now on Knights. That's a target that they can visibly kill. No, Puck gets jumped.
Not again! A nice smoke screen right there. Can Electri get himself away? Just barely. They have to use this the entire time so defensively, the smoke screen.
Yeah. The Steel Tower falling. Liquid, it delays them, but the win condition is still on their side. They're gonna try and group up here. The Aegis did expire. Can they take a fight though? They're gonna try. If they can kill Insania, that's the best target, I think, because of the gem.
Oh no! The 4! Proxy gets the catch as well. Avatos damage coming in. They group up the BKB on Ego, trying to possibly maybe turn it around. No, it's just gonna be disengaged with the execution drives too much handle. Alacti gets a 3-man vehicle, but it's all defensive. It's all just to get themselves away. And Nisha's coming to say hi. Flyby takes a heap of damage in the process. Yeah, they're just being pushed further back and further back in towards their base, looking for the bottom set. Even though mid has no tier 3 tower, their focus is bottom.
Yeah, very interesting decision actually, because they actually have a wave closer there. They lose poor Puck. Alacrity just struggling, and no surprise. There's a fair amount of counters to the hero this game.
Yeah, that silence from the TA is too much. Box is trying to get the toss back every single time, but it's the constant spam of the smoke screen that just interrupts it. Box is actually going to get glimpsed back. Ego with the Laguna. Do they have the kill? Onto the tiny stat kinetic field, and the GG gets hauled. It is going to be Liquid with a 26-minute win. Yeah, it's this is the first time so far this major that I've seen a Puck struggle.
Yeah, the draft was fairly good, but I think losing top lane was really the biggest problem for Knights. If somehow they were able to enable that Riki a bit more, if they had a different hero that could play faster tempo, because the problem is the Puck actually did well in the lane. Sure, Nisha, drew or even won the lane, but Puck only needs levels. The fact is that they didn't have a support to play with the Lina. The Disruptor is passive, and the Riki needs the Shard to be able to start initiating. Flyby was just recovering the whole time. He doesn't scale back. I think it was a very all-in sort of approach. I agree when you said that eHome kind of did the similar thing. Hopefully Knights can, draft a bit better, because until the Viper pick, I was very confident with what they were doing.
The Viper pick is a nice one if you are actually laning against the TA, but
yeah,
you should know. To be fair, Knights doesn't have a coach, so there's not that extra person to help them with the entire drafting situation and whatnot. They are the only team here at LIMA without a coach, which could be the big downfall in this situation, because they should, Nisha can play TA just as good as Mickey, and they can just swap that lane around every single time, and then you've got a Viper without actually playing as a counter to anything. You saw it in the lane top. Flyby was just struggling the entire time with the headshots coming through from Mickey, who was looking very good this game. But then we still have that age-old question for you, Bowie. MVP, who are you going to give it to?
Boxy, no questions asked, all right? When mid players deserve their MVP, I'll give it to them. Boxy, to me, the amount of impact he was able, the fact that he forced that coil that gave Liquid Roche, the way they laned, they actually got an ego kill just because of a tossback. He was doing a lot even without Blink Dagger. No questions asked here. Boxy just
the double
played
career
amazing.
snipe at the start.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget that one.
Boxy looking amazing on that 4 position, but Team Liquid in general, this was just just a complete brutal shutdown. The Viper had nothing to say there. But that means we're going to go towards a short little break. We have had a lot of quick games so far today. Hopefully, their last game for us, at the very least, will have a little bit more of an exciting edge to it because they have been very one-sided so far. We'll see you after the break for game number 2 between Knights and Team Liquid. Here we have some nice, some nice clips for you. We'll be right back.